Arizona's already in the final. Who will they meet? The Maryland Terrapins or the Kentucky Wildcats? Two pretty good teams here at Madison Square Garden. John Saunders once again alongside Dick Vitale. We got to see a pretty good game in the opener with Arizona knocking off Notre Dame. Now in this one, a chance to see two premier big guys.
Well, you talk about big people. You talk about the ACC, a guy that's going to really probably be a leading candidate for Player of the Year. Terrence Morris, explosive inside-outside presence, block shots, and can really run the court in transition. For Kentucky, you talk about Jamal McGlory. He's increased his numbers from last year, 13 points a game thus far this year. Morris 14. That number will go higher as the season progresses. But McGlory has added to his dimension of blocking shots, offensive ability. Tubby Smith would like to see him shoot a few less jump shots and post more on the interior. I think this Kentucky team would be better than a lot of people believe. Last year, it was a shootout, Maryland and Kentucky. But as you said earlier, John, they're all in the NBA. Profit, Kesey, Francis, Paget, Turner, and Evans aren't here anymore. I mean, it's unbelievable. It'll still be exciting. Maryland, Kentucky.
5 of the starters in last year's game were all drafted in the NBA. Now, for Gary Williams, he says he knows what to expect from this Kentucky team, but things are a little bit different this year. It's still anarchy, but it's a little more controlled.
This year they seem more patterned to their break. Their transition is really good, and they're patient enough to wait for their big people to get down and post up. And even though it's transition, they're still looking to dump it inside and use their strength. They're playing very well together as a team. If you look at their shots per game, it's very balanced between 5 or 6 guys, and that's always a good sign when you have that, because when you look at Kentucky this year, it's not like, okay, if we stop this guy, then we're going to beat Kentucky. You have to stop Kentucky this year if you expect to win.
And as we take a look at these starting lineups, we expect this one to be a very exciting game. And there's Terrence Morris, the guy you talked about. At 6'9", he really can do a lot of things on the floor. But then the rest of them all young, sophomores and freshmen. Juan Dixon averaging 22 points per game already this season early on.
He's like the Energizer Bunny. I mean, he doesn't stop. He goes, and goes. He's their human energy.
And for Tubby Smith, he also had to replace a whole bunch of guys. Jamal McGlory is the only senior in there. Almost didn't have him back. He went to the NBA and then decided, I'm going to pull my name out of the draft. Tyshaun Prince averaging 10 points per game. Another guy that Tubby has to depend on.
I'll tell you, Tubby's team is playing outstanding defense early. They beat 2 solid basketball teams in Penn and Utah. Utah was a little short-handed without Hano Metala, but they're still a very well-coached team. Gary Williams won his 400th game the other day, beating San Francisco, came back and beat Tulane after being down 27-10, and were really dominated on the glass by Tulane.
Kentucky controls the opening tip as Cameron knocked it to McGlory. Smith on the outside dumps it down to McGlory, turns the jump hook, rolls around to Morris, grabs the rebound.
That's what they want out of Morris. They need the M&M guys, Morris and Miller, to step it up on the rebounding end. You're going to like this kid, Blake, John. Solid point guard, understands how to play.
Freshman out of Miami.
Look at that matchup, 2 new point guards, Saul Smith and Blake.
Smith, of course, had the benefit of backing up Wayne Turner. Travel underneath.
I think this tempo to get this game is something that Kentucky will like. In the first 2 games, they played against teams that do an excellent job of controlling tempo. But I think Maryland's going to run up and down the floor, pressure to speed up the game.
Maryland came with that full court. Prince has it now. It's back to Saul Smith.
Saul played really well, I thought, in the first 2 games. Even though he had 6 turnovers in that first game, came back with only 1 turnover in the second matchup against Utah.
Long NBA three-pointer rattles down.
And I'll tell you, that's what he does well, John. He has the ability to make that shot, something Wayne Turner could not do. Look at that pass.
Terrific pass down to Morris.
Great vision. Howard Garfinkel called him the human assist when he had him at the 5-star camp.
A lot of people had him rated as the #2 point guard coming out. Behind only Jason Williams, who got a little scuffle.
We don't need this, guys. Let's play some basketball. We don't need this. We don't need this. Gonna push it and shove it. A lot of emotion. Refs did a good job of breaking that up. Tommy Lopes, Joe Mingo.
Little shoe to the face. Prince.
You don't need that. You don't need that.
Allison and Baxter tied up.
Blake did a great job stepping between Allison.
Both teams coming with a full court pressure. This game is going to be fun to watch.
See, the one thing right now that they do well, Kentucky, they got those guys that are quick with long arms. Kamara's got long arms. Jules has really added a lot to his game. Went to the big man camp. Tyshaun Prince has got those long arms at 6'7".
Baxter gets it. Nowhere to go. McGlure had him cut off. Loose ball. Terps still chase it down. Again, bodies flying everywhere.
I tell you, a lot of emotion in this game. These officials are going to have to stay right on top of it, John. Right on top of it early and take charge and command.
Prince into trouble. Blake reaches in. Gary Williams.
You talk about animated. They don't get much more animated than Mr. Williams, except the guy that might follow us a little later, that Billy Raftery and Bobby Carpenter will be talking about, Gene Cady. He can shoot.
Is open.
Jules Kamara could shoot the basketball, even though he missed that little jumper.
Morris now. Baxter wants it.
He got a lot of experience last year, John Baxter, when Obino Akizi went out with that Achilles heel problem, started the last 11 games. Gives him a big post player, big strong guy, trying to get a little more stamina, stay out of foul trouble. Going to play a lot more minutes this year. Oh, nice entry. Got to convert that.
Morris couldn't pay it off, but that was a terrific pass. The lob ahead to Kamara.
Nice pass, and that's what Kamara does well. Runs the court in transition. I don't know. I get a special feeling about this Kentucky team. And as the season progresses, everybody's talking Florida and Auburn, but don't forget about the Cats.
Foul from behind. Kamara.
You take a look at the good angle. Saul Smith with a great lob. And there's Kamara finishing the play.
Morris turns and fires. Comes up short. Prince with the rebound.
See, there's a versatility of Prince. A guard that can give you a rebounding ability as well.
Allison cut off.
Prince came out of Compton, California, Dominguez High School.
Kamara loses the handle. Dixon thinks about three, moves in for a closer look. Off the back of the iron, and big rebound once again to Kentucky.
Dixon has become a solid scorer for Gary Williams. Give him some great quickness on the perimeter.
Prince from deep.
Got to bother him because he can shoot that trifecta. Got to get a hand up in his face. You know, last year, Tubby scored 103 points against Maryland. That's the only time Kentucky, since he's been here in the 2 years, scored over 100 points. It's hard to believe.
And Gary Williams has forgotten about that.
It was a 103-91 shootout.
Baxter fights his way to the hole.
And that's what Baxter will provide. Good inside play. As the full court pressure, Terrence Morris, that quickness bothering the baseline. See, the one thing Maryland last year got hurt big time losing Obino Akizi for the latter part of the season. Say what they want about having Steve Francis. You can't afford to lose a 6'11" NBA player.
Blows out his Achilles. Jamal McGlure takes it up. Kamara goes after the loose ball rebound.
They lost to the Sweet 16 last year to St. John's. We're going to watch Baxter now. There's a little horizontal cut. There's Baxter posted inside. A little reverse layup. Lays it on the glass. Good touch. Kentucky did a poor job defensively, so you got to get over that screen. That was set up by Morris. Morris did a great job with screening to get his buddy Baxter free.
Keith Bogans into the game.
I'm expecting a breakout from Bogans.
He's been struggling early.
Yeah, we haven't seen the real Keith Bogans. He and his buddy Joe Forte. You people stay tuned for the next game and watch the backcourt of Coda and Forte, who had 24 in his debut at North Carolina. Will be a special player in a Tar Heel uniform.
Prince leans in, tap back.
Oh, you got to wave that off.
I agree.
You got to wave that off. You can't interfere with that up on the rim.
All over it while the ball was sitting on the iron.
Yeah, I thought that was going to go in anyway, but I thought it was interference. But then again, I got one eye and I'm blind, so I can't really. But you said it's good. See, if you say you agree with me, that's good.
I agree with you. I'm with you.
As McLaurin battling inside against Baxter.
Working a lot of clock here, approaching 10. Nicholas, the entry.
He can shoot. Nicholas can flat out shoot the three.
Saul Smith comes up with the steal.
Watch the trailer. There's the trailer. Hello! Hello! Oh, they're going to love these cats in Kentucky. They're going to love these cats. This team's going to be better than people believe. Saul Smith showing he can play the point.
Tyshaun Prince with the flush. 7 points. And a 12-4 Kentucky lead.
Nice dish by Saul.
AC's Kentucky grabs an early 8-point lead here in the second semifinal of the preseason NIT. Winner of this one gets Arizona. And Tyshaun Prince gets off to a pretty good start, averaging 10 points through the first couple of games. He already has 7.
Well, as Larry Beal said, our guy from Hawaii, the artist, Mr. Prince.
Still known as Prince, not formerly known as. There's that game you were talking about, 103 to 91. And Tyshaun Prince had a pretty good day that day as well.
Well, I'll tell you who was really big in that game. The 3 seniors, Wayne Turner, Evans, and also Paget, were sensational. They really dominated, and Steve Francis couldn't really get going, and they just didn't have the ability in that game on that one night to be able to offset the great performance of Kentucky. Kentucky was brilliant.
You can see what the Terps and Gary Williams have come up with out of that timeout.
Blake's a winner, a real tough kid at the point. I think he'll be the best point guard Gary Williams has had at Maryland.
Morris has to toss out of it to Drew Nicholas. Shot no good.
He can flat out shoot the 3. Had 9 threes the other day, Drew Nicholas. It's almost like a specialist. He can knock down that trifecta.
Maryland resets.
Kentucky better play him on a perimeter.
Kick ball, reset the shot clock.
Kentucky has anointed itself as America's team of the century, even though they'll get some arguments down at UCLA and North Carolina.
A few places. Kentucky has an 8-point lead. 14:39 still to go here in the first half. And speaking of teams out of the SEC, college football. Thursday game night gets things going on, presented by Gateway, and then it's Mississippi and Mississippi State. Ole Miss tailback Deuce McAllister, how about 317 all-purpose yards against Arkansas, including taking a kickoff 100 yards for the touchdown.
Wow.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. You know, I mentioned Nicholas had 27 the other night. He didn't have 9 threes, had 4 threes, and was so effective, but he's 6 for 12 shooting the 3 thus far this year for Maryland.
Dixon has it stolen, picked off. Nice job by Kamara.
Kamara's so quick.
Look at McGlory with the follow, won't go. And now Maryland has some numbers as Blake goes for the push.
They're going to get Dixon involved offensively.
Baxter gets it up and in.
I'll tell you, he knows how to post inside and knows how to utilize his body exceptionally well in a low blocks.
He also likes that move with his back to the basket where he throws it up off the glass. McGlory converts.
I think it's going to be very difficult to trap and to pressure this team from Kentucky. They got too many good ball handlers, and they're in the right spots, well coached, well drilled. I think they'll get a lot of easy layups against the traps.
Blake trying to find someone to dump it off to. Finally, Morris comes to it. Oh, nice play by Nicholas.
Yeah, Nicholas, they feel as a surprise, was not a big-time recruit. Gary Williams really pleased with his progress. They're young teams. They like the chemistry of the Maryland team. They like the unselfishness. Talk to Billy Hahn, the assistant.
McGlory, who's been working on that jump hook, doesn't get it to go.
Yeah, he's trying to add a little bit more versatility to his game. Nice pass. What a great look. What a finish inside by TM. Terrence Morris, one of America's premier forwards.
And there was a lot of traffic underneath. That wasn't easy. Prince, long range, no good. Morris at the rebound. Baxter grabs it now.
Yeah, out of his range right there. Really stepping out beyond the NBA 3.
Kentucky commits the foul. Saul Smith.
Take a look at the pass. The human assist. Mr. Blake inside. And a guy that can finish it. Mr. Morris, so agile on the baseline. I'll tell you, Steve Blake's got great vision, great eyes, and a great feel for getting the ball inside.
Martisic comes in. That's into the ball now. The jump left hook. Stone got a piece of that.
You're going to like Marvin Stone. You're going to like the big 6'10", 250. It's going to be tough keeping him on a prime. He's not going to be an assistant coach long, John. I'll tell you one thing. He's going to get poor Tubby Smith to have to play in a lot of minutes.
Maryland with the run here as Dixon will go to the line.
He's been real quiet, Dixon. Averaging better than 20 a game after the first 3 games. Has been sensational for Maryland. Was a great 6-man last year. Came off, gave him a spark. They were one of the dominating teams in America. In fact, they were 10-0 when they went down to Kentucky.
You know, he comes out of Calvert Hall, one of my all-time favorite Baltimore high school players who went on a long career in the NBA, Georgia Tech, Dwayne Farrell.
Oh, Dwayne Farrell, outstanding player. Played really well in Georgia Tech when they had it rolling with all those outstanding players. Dalrymple and Tyson and Hodag and Sally. Sally now, a big comeback playing for the Lakers.
After a couple of years out of the league.
Yeah, winning experience. There's the trap. Oh, they do a good job with the trap there.
Almost turns it over. Bogans launches a 3 off the mark. Big rebound underneath by Stone and rattles it down.
Here's the diaper dandy, Mr. Marvin Stone, working on the inside from out of Alabama. Kentucky going to a little pressure now, trying to rotate out of the man into a trap.
Dixon for 3. No good, and then over the backboard, Kentucky basketball.
Maryland brought in Taj Holden now from out of Red Bank, New Jersey. Now look at Stone working on the inside. He's got that big body. He's a space eater. He's got soft hands. There's nothing like having those good hands. See, this might be a team Gary can pressure because there are a lot of young new players on the floor for Kentucky.
Bogans, a terrific drive along the baseline.
And that's the kid they need to come back.
Nobody rotated back, though, and Nicholas gets an easy layup.
Yeah, Maryland does a great job getting the ball up the court. What I mean coming back is he's really struggling a little bit with his confidence after the first 2 games, and he's so talented, Keith Bogans. Played at DeMatha High School with Joe Forte, Morgan Wooten, who belongs in the Hall of Fame, I can tell you that.
Levin's with it now. Allison thinks about it. Down to Knight, who lays it in.
Yes, if you remember that name, his brother played.
Travis.
That's right.
Another Laker.
Played with the Lakers, played with Utah, University of Connecticut. Knight played on the front here, came out of junior college. Utah. Man-to-man defense by Kentucky.
Dixon gets it from Nicholas. Into the paint, pulls up, floater comes up short.
He really blew right by Bogans right there in that matchup on the perimeter. Dixon with that super quickness.
Kentucky's lead is 6. 11:09 to go in the first half in a pretty frantic pace for Gary Williams. Kentucky's lead is 20-14 here with just over 11 to go in the first half. I want to remind you what we have coming up after this one, the Maui Invitational Championship from beautiful Lahaina. And we know that personally. Purdue and North Carolina. This one promises to be great. Bob Carpenter and Bill Raftery, they're fortunate enough to be there. We're happy to be here in New York as well, but they're going to get to see a tremendous matchup there.
Well, they always seem to match up, those two teams. Maybe we can get the big jet and get out of here and get to Maui if they can hold off the tip-off. But that matchup, you got the experience. When you talk about 5 seniors for Purdue, and they know how to play. Brian Cardinal's been sensational. But Ed Cota, whenever the game got close in the early games that they've played so far in North Carolina, he's made the big play. He's gotten the ball to the right people, and Haywood's improved inside. That's going to be a Donnybrook, an absolute big-time battle.
I like the youngster Forte.
Oh, big
absolutely
time.
Tremendous.
Can flat-out shoot. It was 4 for 4 from the trifecta in the first game in a Carolina uniform. Oh, I don't like those Carolina. You know, one thing I love, the Yankee pinstripes. I love the Dallas Cowboy uniforms. I used to love North Carolina with North Carolina on the front. Now they got NC on it. I don't like it, John.
Let's see if we can make a call down to Bill Guthridge. Bogans was in all kinds of traffic. Now bodies all over the floor. Possession arrow favors the Terrapins.
Oh, don't start with me with possession arrows now. I know they're in a row. Don't start. It's too early in the season to get into that. But seriously, I used to love that North Carolina tradition with that North Carolina. It's unbelievable. Held ball now, alternate possession, back in effect. No longer is the defense rewarded. Because there was a lot of controversy last year. Throw the ball off. Let the refs throw it off.
Strong rebound underneath by Stone, but Morris with a terrific defensive job forces a turnover. Blake says, let me get out of here. A little too much traffic down there.
When you think about what Maryland lost, losing 3 guys to the NBA, Prophet, O'Keefe, and Francis, who I think is going to be a superstar eventually.
Morris for 3.
And this guy's got superstardom all over him. If he puts together the kind of run he's capable of, he's going to be heard from when you talk about Player of the Year honors.
Bogans answers right back.
Yes, sir. I said I thought he'll break out. He's too talented. I had him in the Sonny Vaccaro All-American game last year, and he was sensational in the Adidas All-American game.
Nicholas 3, no good. Blake chases down the rebound, puts up his own jumper that's good.
It's amazing, John, watching these diaper dandies. They play with such poise and patience. You know, we lose kids to the NBA, but what makes college exciting is the arrival of all these new kids.
You see the three-point field goal of Kentucky.
There's the zone. Look at the zone with Morris up on top. They'll bother a lot of shooters with that great size.
Kentucky really hasn't shot it very well early in the season, especially from three-point range. Bogans on the floor, reaches in, Morris does, and picks up a foul that I'm sure Gary Williams will not appreciate.
That was one of their problems last year, shooting the jump shot. They're going to show right now, running that zone. There's that zone with Terrence Morris. The key is Morris up on top. Freeze it right there. See, having this guy right up on top with that long arms. See how effective with those long arms? Bogans tries to beat him. I think that really presents a problem.
You mentioned Bogans. He would expect would like to beat up on Maryland, being from Hyattsville, and only 2 players have ever gotten 4 high school letters under Morgan Wooden at DeMatha. Adrian Dantley was the other.
Wow. And he's had so many guys that went on to play in the NBA, 13 from out of DeMatha, and all kinds of players that went on to college. And that's why when you look at his record, his resume, Morgan Wooten is a Hall of Famer.
Second time we get Adrian Dantley in tonight as well, coming off that Notre Dame game.
Yeah, Digger's guy. There's the trap now by Kentucky going to that 1-2 half-court trap.
Hardisich got it to Nichols, won't go. McGlure clears the glass.
Hardisich had an outstanding freshman year. Had a little bit of a slump last year. They say he's come on a lot better this season.
Morris, terrific steal and steps on the ball. Blevins chases it down. Bogans tries to weave his way through traffic, and there's a reach-in foul.
Getting a little bit out of sync right now when you look at Kentucky. You don't have the rhythm that they had when Saul Smith was running the show. Keith.
Still not into the bonus yet.
Tell me excited about Cliff Hawkins, who they signed from out of Oak Hill. Mike Southall, a shot blocker, 6'9" player. Kentucky will always get its fair share of players. Talent.
Tyshaun Prince.
They got to split the guy up on top and get some wing jump shots.
Prince drives, floater that banks in off the glass.
Plays with such poise. Nobody got back.
Nicholas trying to chase down the home run. Does. Gets to Martisic.
Well, Gary Williams having his kids well prepared, trying to sneak out in transition. Gary spent a lot of time last night in the evaluation room, up in the film room, up at the hotel, studying Kentucky film. I wonder what these coaches do, man. It's hours and hours of look at that film.
Hours of agony, too.
Yeah, always worrying, chewing those Maalox pills.
Shot clock was down to 7, and Maryland got a little anxious and turns it over. 6th turnover for the Terps.
You know, Maryland last year, along with Connecticut and certainly Duke, were dominating right out of the gate. And then Duke really took the wind out of their sails. Duke played so brilliantly because Duke had that great balance with Brand inside, great perimeter players. But you watch Duke. As the season progresses, that team is going to get better and better and better. There's the zone. Terrence Morris up on top. Those long arms. Takes away the look at the 3.
McGlure in a huge battle down on the blocks. Finally backs out of it. McGlure has it. Free throw line. Finds Bogans. Launches a 3 off the mark. Prince with the rebound.
I'll tell you, Tyshaun Prince playing an outstanding game. Showing his versatility. There's an example of inverting. Taking his ability from the perimeter and bringing it to the baseline.
Largest lead of the game right now for Kentucky. Tyshaun Prince with 11 points. Already 1 past his average over the first couple of games.
And now they're going to the same kind of defense, basically, with Tyshaun Prince with those long arms up on top. I said, anything you can do, we can do better.
Nicholas shot, no good. McGlure into the hands of Prince. Pulls up, leans. A little too strong. Tip back. Won't go down. That's off of Maryland. Kentucky basketball.
They are a better team, Kentucky, when Saul Smith is running the show. Now look at Prince right here. Here he is in great rebound position, Johnny S. There he is. Good rebound, and count it.
Maryland has had, well, Kentucky has too, but Maryland, you think of some of the outstanding players that have gone. If you had to pick your all-Maryland Terrapin team,
oh, wow,
who'd be on it?
Well, I'll tell you, I got to go with our guy, Lenny Elmore.
Oh,
what a great rebound is our guy who really knows the game. Tom McMillan was sensational. Lenny Bias was unbelievable. John Lucas, are you kidding me? He was sensational. And I go with Buck Williams. I mean, I can't put Steve Francis and Albert King ahead of those guys. I just can't, Sean.
No, I absolutely agree with you. But the best signee, maybe, that never played.
Oh, Moses Malone. Yeah, he broke my heart. We recruited him big time at Detroit. We thought maybe we'd get him to the big city.
Prince in problems. Well, Lefty Drizel used to sleep in his car out in front of Moses' house. That's how he got him. Morris, no good.
Left-handed could recruit, doing a great job at Georgia State.
One of the guys who absolutely loves the sport. That's why he's still doing it.
Oh, he just loves it. He loves being involved with kids. When he took over Maryland, he said, "I'm going to make him the UCLA of the East." That's Bogans showing why he was so heavily recruited. You're starting to see the real Keith Bogans. 9 points for Bogans. Got a nice touch there. Shot selection is so important for young kids.
8-0 Kentucky run, and then the foul. Looks like it'll go against Jamal McGlure.
You know, you talk about guys that love the game. You know, the first game this year, Georgia State played against Fresno State. Tarkanian against Drizel.
Wow.
A lot of wins between those guys. And unfortunately for Jerry, he won that game but got beat by Pepperdine the other night at home in a heartbreaker. He's playing without one of the great scorers in the country. And talking about Courtney Alexander, as you look at the coach scouting, Lute Olson.
You see a lot of wins between those two guys. Not a lot of hair. Certainly not like Lute.
I tell you, Lute may be 65, but he looks about 35, I told him today. It's amazing.
McGlure thought he had cleared the glass, but Morris comes up with a change and puts it back in.
Morris really playing well. Danny Miller's got to step up and give a little bit more rebound. He's a very active player out of New Jersey. He and Morris got to give a better rebound than they did in the first 3 games.
That was going to be a tough pass from Bogans trying to get it down on the baseline.
I tell you, at ACC this year, a lot of balance. Wake Forest going to be very good. They got a solid starting club coming back, plus Nick Lorenzi added, and Virginia, I think, is going to be dynamite.
Kamara dumps it down to Bogans, who fights it in.
Isn't Bogans impressive? Yep. Isn't Bogans impressive? I really felt that he would break out tonight. I was telling some people before the game, you just watch him in warm-ups. He has a certain presence that looks like a player. There he is working on the inside. The dump down. Oh, his grandma must be screaming. She said, "That's my guy." Because he saw a picture of his grandmother when she was 16 and she played. And he said, "Grandma, I didn't know you would have bombed. You were unbelievable." She said, "He always thought I was 65. And you realize I was young one time." And she talked about her heartthrob she had for one of my buddies I knew years ago in Detroit, Earl Lloyd. Eddie Miller.
And then the trap and a timeout called by Kentucky as Tyshaun Prince had nowhere to go with it. The rest of his team had left town.
I'll tell you, Kentucky really playing well against Maryland, who's been prepared tonight. Kentucky getting a lot of people involved, really beating right now by 10 a good Maryland team.
Do you think the ACC and the Big Ten are 1-2 in conferences?
I think the Big Ten's the best conference in America this year. I really do. I mean, you see Purdue beating, for example, beating Florida. Wisconsin goes out, gets a win early over Missouri. I think when you look at that conference from top to bottom, I think it's going to be super. Then after that, I think you got to talk certainly the SEC, and really, when you look at it, the Pac-10 is going to be outstanding this year.
Well, those two great conferences, as we mentioned, will match up. You know, a few years ago it was the Big East and the ACC. Coaches really didn't like it back then. They didn't like those tough games out of the gate. But now I think everybody recognizes you have to play that type of a schedule.
Well, the coaches really have a little bit more security in their contracts as well. Most guys are like me. You want all those cupcakes, baby. When I was coaching, I want to line up cupcake after cupcake. I don't want no part of Duke. Are you kidding me?
Entry pass from McGlure. Prince chases it down. McGlure wants it again. That was a tough pass around his belt.
Yeah, bad pass right there by Prince into McGlure. Didn't give him no chance to handle that. You know, Tuesday night in that matchup, Illinois and Duke, you're going to see a lot of talent, young talent on that floor. With Griffin and Frank Williams, and certainly Jason Williams for Duke, and Mike Dunleavy.
Blevins from deep, no good. How about Mike Krzyzewski getting a chance to go back to his hometown?
Exactly. The United Center will be rocking in Chicago. Last year he beat out there Michigan State in a big game.
Blake really tried to force that pass in. There was nothing there. Now Maryland going to play a little denial over the top. Prince.
See, Bogans playing well, getting a lot of minutes. You look at the turnovers right now, 2-to-1 ratio basically with Maryland versus Kentucky.
Morris quick hands, but then loses it. Seen a lot of this in both of these games. It's early.
The spacing is so important. Tubby was concerned about their spacing in game 1 against Fran Duffy's good Penn team, but I think he'll run the table in the Ivy.
McGlure goes up, left-handed hook.
Hey, look at Jamal, showed his ability inside, using the left hand. A lot of good big people this year in college basketball. Chenoweth you'll see later. There's a block shot by Kamara from Kansas.
Baxter gets it back, though, and chases down to the baseline. Huge collision down there. There's some big bodies flying between Baxter and McGlure.
I'll tell you, John, a lot of good big bodies in basketball. Chris Mihm down of Texas, Kenyon Martin from Cincinnati. Chenoweth will be coming up later this week with Kansas in the Great Alaska Shootout. There it is. Look at him right now. McGlure working on the inside. Now he's going to utilize his left hand. He made a great decision coming back to Kentucky. I've said it so many times. I wish that someone would have sat Nazi Muhammad. And if he would have come back last year, he may have won it all. But he also, his marketability and his rating would have went a lot higher and would have got a lot more money and status where he would have been drafted.
It's really interesting over the past few years, Dick, and the guys who should come out. It's clear that the top players, the Elton Brands, they should come out. But when you look at a guy like William Avery,
sitting the pine night after night,
and you heard so much about the family of Avery saying that Mike Krzyzewski was being selfish, and that is ridiculous. Mike Krzyzewski recognized that that kid was not ready for the NBA.
Yeah, Mike Krzyzewski can be summed up very easily. Even his granddad now. So is Gary Williams. His daughter Kristen had a baby. Mike's daughter had a baby.
That's right.
Joey Savarino, a nice little Italian name. Savarino was Krzyzewski. But you know, Mike is an honest guy, and he was very honest in his evaluation and his feelings. And he only did it because he cared also about William Avery. Mike Krzyzewski is going to be a success whether Avery stays or he goes.
If he's so selfish, why wasn't he telling Elton Brand to stay? I mean, it's just a ridiculous accusation. Dixon short. Well, sometimes it's happening everywhere.
Sometimes people a little misquoted. Nice pass.
Knight gets it up on the iron.
I'll tell you, Knight is doing a nice job, and Bogans off the bench. Knight running the court, giving him some positive minutes.
30-second timeout called by Gary Williams.
Gary needs only 5 victories to reach 200 at Maryland in his career.
You talked about Bogans. You thought he'd emerge against his home state. He's doing it.
Oh, there he is now showing his driving ability. Now he shows his ability to shoot the jag. And here he is going to get in the lane, pull up. And Morgan Wooten's yelling, "That's my guy. That's my guy." Showing strength inside. And then he'll stay up later tonight, Morgan, and he'll watch another one of his guys and say, "That's my guy, Joe Forte," out of Hyattsville, Maryland, DeMatha High School.
Kentucky with 18 points off the bench. Bogans has 12 of those. Marvin Stone, another diaper dandy, as you call him, that has already shown what a force he could be in, and giving McGlure some time to sit down on the bench. Blake gives it to Miller. Morris finds Blake again. Tipped off by Stone.
Trailer, got the trailer, there it is.
Prince couldn't convert, but gets fouled.
They're doing a nice job getting from defense to offensive transition. Every time I see that Kentucky jersey, I reflect back also to Rick Pitino when he took this program over, and he really developed a sense of pride as you look at Kentucky kicking it out. And there's the trail man, Prince. and he really brought back that pride that once existed there, and they went out and had such a run. I mean, think about it, John. National champs in '96, beating Syracuse. '97, get beat in overtime by Arizona. And remember, Derek Anderson was injured at the time. I mean, can you imagine if they have Anderson? In '98, they win the title again. And then last year, Tummy's club came so close to going to the Final Four before losing to Michigan State.
Kentucky leads it by 16. On a 17-5 run over the last 6+ minutes and built a 40-24 lead as college basketball tournaments continue early this season. The Puerto Rico shootout, Providence against Michigan State. Aaron Maxey at 6'6", great swingman. Michigan State, of course, Big Ten champions. Morris Peterson last year, amazing, non-starter, first-team all-conference pick. And Kansas against Georgia. Chenoweth, the 7-foot junior, and Jim Herrick shuffled his roadshow down to Georgia from Rhode Island, and he's been a success wherever he has been.
Hey, you mentioned Rhode Island. They got beat the other night at home, 91-66 by Tulsa, and that's one of my surprise teams. You watch Bill Self's team this year. They're going to be outstanding, Tulsa, out there in the tournament, the WAC. They'll be out there with Fresno State when Jerry Tart gets back, Courtney Alexander, but that Tulsa team is going to cause a lot of problems.
Kentucky showing zone here.
Yeah, Kentucky, multiple defenses, just like Maryland. And with Prince up on top, they rotate really well, got long arms, take away passing lanes.
Shot clock is down to 6. Shot from the corner, no good. Morris gets it back up on the iron, but they come away empty.
Marvin Stone with the rebound just sweeps the glass. Those big paws. Got to get the big guy some touches inside.
Attack it tonight. Prince had to go right through his hands. Oh, Tyshaun Prince goes back and says Danny Miller, not this time.
I'll tell you one thing, Tyshaun Prince really has added a lot to his game. He's stronger physically, got back here, drew the charge, hustling on the defensive end. They're going to take that. There's a little turnover city. Now here goes Danny Miller. Danny M taking it to the goal, but here comes Tyshaun, and they get the charge on Miller.
A little clear out with his arm, I think is what they're calling.
Yeah, he cleared out with the arm, the left arm. Actually, Knight going to the free throw line.
So it came after that play. Knight gets a nothing there. This is, I mean, Kentucky, you're not surprised that they're this good. What I am surprised is that Maryland right now is struggling to stay with them.
Yeah, I'm really not shocked at all at Kentucky, John. Remember when we did our preseason show, I talked about how much I liked them. I like the chemistry of this team, and I like their athleticism. They can run up and down the floor a lot better. And with the return of McGlory, giving them some leadership in terms of experience on the inside. And I just like the way that Saul Smith pushes the ball up the court.
Nicholas going for an NBA range three-pointer. Knight knocked that one into the backcourt. Landed on his elbow, still holding it.
One of the things they've done a great job here is stopping Dixon, not allowing him to get that interim jump shot. He shoots that middle range jumper well.
Morris for 3.
Terrence Morris showing again his multi-dimensional ability.
10 points for Morris.
Maryland's got to make a little run right now against this team. Got a lot of new people on the floor for Kentucky.
Levens outside, no good. Stone, what a terrific job to chase after the ball. Kentucky doesn't get it, but Stone skied over everyone to keep that alive for Kentucky.
Maryland right now has got to try to get this into single digits. Nice little look inside. He's got to go up strong with it.
Marisic going up with the left hand. Stone was there to cause the diversion and come up with the rebound.
I think he's got a big-time presence inside, doesn't he, Marvin Stone? He broke the heart of Coach Gottfried at Alabama by going to Kentucky.
Nice pass by Stone to Prince. He can't convert, approaching the final minute.
Coach Gottfried got a little smile on his face, though, with the signing of Gerald Wallace, a tremendous talent. Also got Shea Cotton down here now wearing a uniform.
Dixon from outside, no good. Knight clears ahead to Blevins to Tackett. Nothing but red jerseys down there with Tackett.
Yeah, see, Tackett right now is the kind of guy they were hoping that he'd be a perimeter shooter. They're looking for him to give him what Cameron Mills gave him several years ago.
Courtyard by Marriott sponsors our halftime report with Larry Beal and Digger Phelps. They'll have highlights of the first game between Notre Dame and Arizona. Number 18, Tennessee, A bit of a struggle. I believe there should be 2 G's in that word. And, of course, the preview of the Maui Invitational Final, North Carolina and Purdue.
Yeah, Larry Beal all over it in there from out of Hawaii, man. Feeding those little passes and those nuggets to Digger in that studio.
That means Larry's used to being up for those late Maui games. Maryland, the shot clock and the game clock, there is a difference, but it's about a half a tick of a second, so Maryland's going to take it down.
It's hard to believe I knew Gary Williams years ago. To think of him right now, he's a granddad. It blows my mind. Tells me the years I'm putting on as they're running down. He was so proud, talking about his grandchild.
Nicholas had no options, and the half is going to come to an end.
Excellent half by Kentucky. They got to get an A in almost every area. Utilization of their bench, coaching. I mean, they get A's in every area. The only F I ever gave them was I gave C.M. Newton an F for their media room for the food they give. And I'll still give them an F because they don't give, I mean, John, they give popcorn in their media room for food.
He's complaining about stuff from years ago.
And I love C.M. I love C.M. He's the best.
Kentucky has a huge lead. Larry Beal and Digger Phelps.
All right, thanks, guys. So Dickie V's unhappy.
He's in New York. Go get something
with the buffet. All right,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Right now, Maryland is being fed a steady dose of Kentucky. The Terps would like to play up tempo, but Kentucky says, "Fine, you want to run? Let's run."
Yeah, and that's Kentucky's best game, and that's what happened to Gary. I really thought even when they tried to press and go back into the zone, it gets Kentucky thinking mentally that they can run and shoot. How about what we got here? Keith Bogans, another DeMatha kid, double figures first half. Wow, it's going to be an interesting second half.
Terrence Morris with 10 points, 5 boards, but not really a factor so far. Courtyard by Marriott halftime report is coming up, and we will show you on the halftime report. Irish eyes, would they be smiling after a meeting with Arizona and Michael Wright?
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the preseason NIT is brought to you by Kia. It's about time everyone had a well-made car. See your local Kia dealer today. ESPN's exclusive presentation of the preseason NIT is brought to you by Chrysler. These will never land on an ordinary car.
Getting ready for the second half with Kentucky commanding 40-27 lead over Maryland. Winner of this game will face Arizona, who beat Notre Dame in the first semifinal. John Saunders alongside Dick Vitale. And you can point to the offense of Tyshaun Prince. He had 13 points, but really defensively is where Kentucky controlled this game.
Well, they did a great job with their defense, but they've been doing that all year. Teams are shooting like 35% against Kentucky. I mean, early in the season, when you got teams shooting that field goal percentage, you're in trouble. You take a look right now, we're going to see them in their zone defense with Prince up on top. We watched the rotation out of the zone. We see them right down here. Freeze it right here. See, watch this big guy right here. He'll pack it into this area, use his great hands, and then everybody else zones up in an area of the floor. They play an area of the floor. Now watch Prince in his rotation inside. He's 6'7". Look how active he is up on top. Long arms. There he is now. Freeze it. See how he slides into the lane? He's ready to stop in here in the passing lane. Does a great job in their movement. And I think that bothered Maryland. Maryland not making the shot from the perimeter. Drew Nicholas is a guy that can't shoot it, did not shoot it. There's a nice screen. There's a kick out. So you got to make that interim shot. You got to make that open shot when you get that opportunity.
Good news for Kentucky as well. They've been shooting at about 42%, shot 47% in the first half. Three-pointer first half over 37%. They had been at about 23% through the first couple of games. So starting to find their range. And Saul Smith, who had a chance to sit down and relax quite a bit in the first half, is back running the show for his dad.
I wonder why he went out that long in the period of time. I thought he made some nice decisions. His dad might not have been happy.
Allison shot out quite a bit as well. And maybe they just saw a chance to, the reserves were running it pretty well. Dixon dumps it down to no one. Tyshaun Prince comes away with it.
Exactly. He was able to get some nice help from the bench.
Prince can't get it to fall down. Baxter grabs the rebound.
Bogans played so well off the bench. Maryland's got to get a spurt going. They got to make a couple of threes. And Dixon's got to get going. They've done a great job shutting him down.
Miller can't get it to go, but the follow by Baxter is good.
See, Baxter really has improved his stamina, getting a lot more minutes now. He knows they need the big guy on the inside. Had a nice run last year until they ran into St. John's in the Sweet 16. Red Storm played so brilliantly. They got a good backcourt, even though they lost their first game to Sanford, showing you the wacky world of college basketball.
Tomorrow can't get it go. Morris had the rebound, kept alive. Morris finally does come up with it. Blake. Nice drive by Dixon.
See, that's what Dixon does. He's a scorer. He's got explosive ability. He can get up and down the floor. He can make the middle range jump shot, make the long range one as well. I'll tell you one thing, Gary Williams, I know Gary personally, and I guarantee you, there was some screaming and some yelling and some jumping and you name it in that locker room.
McGlure can't handle the pass, turns it over.
He wasn't thinking about Turkey, I can tell you that.
He was doing some carving, but it wasn't a bird.
I like that, John.
Dixon fights it up and in.
See now, Dixon all of a sudden getting going, getting some confidence. The bench is getting alive. I mean, Gary Williams, you know, over the years, his teams don't quit.
6-0 run here to start the second half for Gary Williams' squad.
Right back in the game, and here's their scorer. He's been prolific early in the year. There he is with the explosive baseline drive.
Offensive foul.
I'll tell you, Uncle Mo is swung to the side of Maryland. Kentucky needs a wake-up call. Sitting on a Kentucky sideline, Bill Knightley, their equipment guy. He's sitting at 39 years. Tonight, he's got 898 wins. He's got more wins than Dean Smith. I mean, he's got more than Dean. He'll be writing books, Bill Knightley.
Morris swings it back out. Bastard fights it up. Earns a trip to the line.
I'll tell you, they got some life in them, John. They really do. They got some life, and you got to credit the sideline tactician, Gary Williams, for not letting them slide to the sideline. There he is, making the extra pass. Baxter working on that baseline.
Kentucky ready to bring in the reserves. Tubby Smith, the look on his face, summed everything up. He's going to make wholesale changes. Blevins, who hasn't played much in the first couple of games, but has played a lot today.
Not happy at all, sending his son to the sideline. Son not happy going to the pine either. Coach
Glore going as well.
Coaching his other son, Gigi Smith, down at Georgia, won 24 games with Gigi, who's now in school at Georgia, finishing up for his degree. I'm sure Jimmy Herrick wish he had him in the lineup. Jimmy didn't get a full deck there in terms of players when you look at that Georgia lineup. Jermaine Jones should have come back to school too.
Knight had his man sealed. Allison swings it now. Blevins dumps it down to Stone, and a reaching foul is going to go against Juan Dixon.
Juan Dixon playing with a lot of life. What I like about him, he's so energized. He's so energetic. Plays with such feeling. There's Mr. Intensity. Gary Williams, what a job. Think about it. Success in the Big East, success in the Big Ten, and in the ACC.
Allison, long range, no good. Stone grabs the rebound.
Desmond Allison's got to get going. He's a big-time athlete from out of Tampa, Florida.
He's been quiet. Tyshaun Prince.
He hasn't been quiet. He has been their guy tonight. He and Bogans have really played well.
16 for Prince. Blake just pulls up with the jumper. Baxter crashes, but Stone clear.
I'll tell you, Stone, a space eater. Nice pass. Nice to Prince. Yes, the Prince is starring at the Garden, baby. The artist is doing his thing, Larry Beal, here at the Garden.
Dixon, leaner, no good.
It's nice when you can go to your bench and get some help. It also creates a lot of competition in practice, and that's why I think Kansas is going to be so good this year. They got all kinds of competition at spots. Luke Axtell challenging Nick Bradford at the wing. Remember this name, Nick Collis. Oh, is he going to be special, John? Out of Iowa, going to play for Kansas, 6'9", 4-man. And it's a Stone. See, he was wide open. They're going to get the big guy some touches.
Prince's long three off the front of the iron. Morris clears the glass. Dixon takes it up, no good. Knight swats the loose ball. Blevins now. Allison just fought that ball up on the glass.
That's athletic, baby. They get a little timeout, 30-second timeout by Gary Williams. Desmond Allison with the drive to the goal. All the cheerleaders in Kentucky love what they see. 5 years in a row, national champs, the Kentucky cheerleaders. There's Donna Smith, coach's wife, very active. There's the kick out. Blevins, who was recruited by Pitino. There is the drive by Allison. He's one of those Kentucky kids. Remember when they had the Unforgettables with Elfrey and all those Farmer and that gang? Hey, there's Donna right there. There she is, Tubby's wife. That's his lady. Yes, sir. That's Sal's mom as well. She's saying, come on, coach, get my son in the game.
She
just come on, coach.
Gigi had to go against Tubby. Had to be tough on her.
I know, but right now she's going to be upset that Sal's on a pine. I mean, Tubby's going to hear about that. So what are you doing? That's our guy.
Yeah, but you know what? Son. You know what? Saul on the floor. Maryland came out strong with a 6-0 run. Since Tubby made the substitutions, Kentucky's gone on a 7-zip run.
So you're saying,
I'm saying he knows what he's doing.
Comes to basketball.
Tyshaun Prince for the 3.
But Danny Miller.
No, it wasn't Prince.
It was Danny Miller. It was Maryland.
No, I'm going the wrong way. Still stuck in Mountain Time. Stuck in Mountain Time. There's Prince fighting the ball up.
You must have heard you call his name. There he is, very active.
Oh, look at that by Stone. Can't get it to go. And Tubby wants an explanation.
Yeah, Tubby wants to get in that final because Heather Renee French, Miss America, is going to be here Friday. She's in a parade, the Macy Day Parade. Miss Kentucky became Miss America. There it is. We got all kinds of goodies for you here. See that? We're working. Now look at us here. They're banging on the interior, scrapping and clawing.
Big battle in the garden. 10-point lead. Kentucky's lead is 10, and Tyshaun Prince has been so good. I've had him playing for both teams tonight.
Tyshaun really has been very active. I'll tell you one thing. He's got those long arms on the defensive end. He's been active. And certainly offensively. There he is showing his arsenal of tricks, the jump shot, transition ability, explosions in a basket. Just really very versatile. Offensive rebound, shot blocking. I mean, he has just had a complete game, really living up to being a McDonald's High School All-American. As you look at his numbers.
7 of 15 from the field, 4 rebounds to go with those 18 points.
What's amazing, they have not had a big game out of Jamal McGlure either. And yet they're in command.
He's been quiet both offensively and defensively.
Well,
he hasn't been a force.
Getting a lot of playing time as well, sitting on that sideline. Tubby sees some things that we don't see.
Starting to send a little message here to the starter.
Well, Jamal's on the floor right now.
Morris gets it up off the glass.
He's been outstanding. Terrence Morris really showing inside-outside ability. Kamara and Morris matched up. Good matchup there. Dangerous pass.
Almost a steal. Oh, Bogans tried to get a little too fancy trying to drive down there.
Maryland capable of putting a spurt on a board. They got that kind of quickness and scoring ability. Came back against Tulane where they were in big trouble against Perry Clark's team. They got a kid sitting out, but you know, Byron Mouton is going to be outstanding. Transferred from out of Tulane. Was going to go to Kentucky if Rick Pitino was there as a coach. Out of Louisiana.
Maryland trying to escape the mild pressure of Kentucky.
They're not going away. Billy Hahn told me, the assistant, how much he loves Blake. They've had Dean Simpkins and they've had Terrell Stokes, but they think that this kid could be the best point guard they've had.
Dixon, no good. Kamara comes up with a rebound. Prince ahead to Bogans, who gets fouled by Blake.
Keith Bogans playing with a lot more confidence right now as you see him sneak out in transition. There's the kick out by Prince. And there's Bogans trying to finish it off. You know, these clubs hook up again on December 11th in the regular season game.
That'll leave a mark. That didn't look like fun. Boganson, the coming out game.
Nice touch. There he is. Good rotation. First 2 games, he was 1 for 10. It was just a matter of shots not falling down for him. And really shot selection, which is a lot of problems for a lot of young kids. Madison Square Garden, John, the Mecca. When you think about this place, so much excitement has been in this arena, whether it be concerts, basketball. Even though Tubby Smith said, hey, I know I'm happy to play here, but as a kid, I used to grow up following the Baltimore Bullets because he came from Maryland.
Right.
He said, my heroes were Jack Marin and Walt Bellamy and Gus Johnson. He said they weren't Clyde and Willis and DeBusschere and Bradley.
They're pretty darn good, though.
Oh, nice pass. Good dump inside to Baxter. I mentioned Bradley. I better mention Alvin Gore. He can't go one on one. Hey, do you want to have a one-on-one battle? Who would win that? The Harvard. Bradley versus Gore, one-on-one. Yale against Princeton.
I think my money is on Mr. Bradley. And Gore trying to get back up after he picks up the loose.
Alvin Gore getting in deep offensively.
College football is heading towards the Bowl Championship Series on ABC, and Texas A&M. That is Friday, 11 o'clock Eastern time, as Texas gets tuned up for the Big 12 Championship. Nebraska win this one. They're in the Big 12 Championship as well. And I'll tell you what, if they beat Texas, Virginia Tech starts to get a little bit concerned about the BCS standings, because that strength of schedule is such a factor, Dick, and playing in the Big East really hurting Virginia Tech.
Well, you know, they gained a point on them last week without even playing, right? Didn't they gain a point? So it's amazing. But all they can do is what people ask him to do. As he comes up empty on those 2 free throws, and Virginia Tech has done everything people have asked. They've beaten everybody in front of them, and it's as simple as can be.
Well, common opponents, they've actually done a better job than Florida State did.
Yeah, I read that in a paper.
3 common opponents. Madison Square Garden, John Saunders and Dick Vitale, 13:40 plus to go here in the second half of this, our second semifinal game in the NIT.
They're going to get a screen for Nicholas. Get him free for that 3-point shot. He hasn't been able to shoot it and knock it down tonight, but he's very capable.
Nice entry. Dixon turns and fires, goes after his own miss, and then gets fouled.
That was a heck of an offensive rebound by Dixon and a good entry by Nicholas, who's more than just a 3-point specialist. He's going to be a good player at Maryland. There's a nice entry to Dixon. There he is trying to look at him work on the glass, the little guy. Rebound with the big feet.
Morris comes up short. Bogans.
What I like about Bogans, he's got nice strength of body. Playing some point.
Doesn't look like a freshman.
No, it doesn't at all. Doesn't play like one either.
Gore, strong to grab that ball away from Baxter and earn a trip to the free throw line.
They're starting to develop a nice bench, Kentucky. Outstanding coaches, and Coach Finney on that sideline, Coach Sutton, Coach Felton. He's got all kinds of experience. I remember you talking about a coaching staff. What about a staff of assistants when you think about this? Ready? Tubby Smith, Herb Sendick, Billy Donovan, Ralph Willard, Patino. Does he surround himself with some winners?
Put some people out there. Dean Smith, though, has said Bill Guthridge would have been a name along with Dean for a long time, but he stayed next to him for 30 years.
As a look at Tubby and his staff, just talked about him sitting to Tubby's left, George Felton.
South Carolina head coach at one point. Yep. Tubby's bench.
Look at that bench. Oh, wow, 5-1. Look at that mathematics, 5-to-1 ratio.
You sure you didn't go to Notre Dame?
Wow. I couldn't spell Notre Dame, John.
Some of your daughter's education is bleeding over to you.
So she takes after it.
Bogans jumps into the paint and travels.
You know, you mentioned Ralph Willard a little bit earlier, had gotten fired down at Pittsburgh, coaching now at Holy Cross. What a win Ralph had the other day. He beat Providence. One of the shocks early in college basketball, along with Iowa beating Connecticut, Notre Dame on Ohio State, Samford over St. John's, Wofford over Clemson. Wow.
Blake backs it back out.
He understands how to play the point. He knows what the responsibilities of a point guard is. Start the offense, play the defensive end, make some open shots if they're there. Has not done that yet, but he'll get that done.
Morris jump hook in the paint.
Well, they get him nice in the lane. He's worked on a jump hook. That's one of his areas of improvement, according to Gary Williams. Now they're back into the zone. No, they're going to stay man-to-man.
7-point game as Maryland's making this run.
They're not going to go away.
Foul goes against Blake as he was trying to stay with Blevins.
Gary Williams coaching. Wow. Look, see, you flash inside. You got to beat the cutter to the ball. I mean, that's a breakdown defensively. No way can Marvin Stone allow a guy with the ability of Terrence Morris to catch the ball in the lane. You got to beat him to the basketball.
Just the second team foul this half on Maryland. Stone picks up his dribble, then finds some trouble. Blevins. Knight had his man sealed, wanted it. Dixon skies for a rebound over top of the back of Bogans. His 10th rebound, career high for Dixon.
It's incredible. The little guy is so active. He wants to beat him off the dribble.
Takes it right at the glass, but Stone was there to challenge.
Yes, Stone said rejection city. Thou shalt not enter the lane, little guy. It's the man's world. Look at Tyshaun. A little shake and bake.
Trying to do it all himself, though. Comes up empty as Marisic clears the glass.
Yeah, Marisic much more active this year than last year.
Miller dumps it down into the box to Morris. Morris trying to free himself. Off the glass, it's good.
There's that jump hook. Oh, the Terps are back. The Terps are back. Yes, sir. They're back. And their coach is as active as ever. The Cats have got a war in their hands.
5-point game. Stone. Blevins.
I wonder why he's so down on his son not playing a lot of minutes, John.
Bogans traveled.
I'll tell you what. Now here he comes now, bringing him on the floor. Here comes the starters right now.
Call the cavalry. Maryland has made a run.
Here comes the All-American. He said, I'm going to carry you guys. I'm going to take you to the winner's circle.
11-3 run by the Terps over the last 5 minutes or so. They've cut the lead to 5. College football game day on Saturday, 11 a.m. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, and Kirk Herbstreit get you ready for a Big East showdown between Pitt and West Virginia. And more importantly, those guys will bring everything into the picture as far as what's going to happen with the Bowl Championship Series, the National Championship, whether or not Nebraska has a chance to pass Virginia Tech and place Florida State in the Nokia Sugar Bowl. Wyoming, San Diego State later on in the day, and the Air Force in New Mexico as well. But get things started, 11 a.m. As a matter of fact, sit down at 10:55. Don't move.
I'll tell you one thing, John. The reason Maryland got back in this game, 1 turnover and shooting 8 for 16, 50%, where Kentucky's 3 for 14 in the second half with 5 turnovers. Now, Kentucky's got to get back a little spurt here because right now they're playing on their heels and Maryland's the aggressor. Kentucky zoning.
Morris, Nicholas, drives. Marisic has it. Shot clock down to 6.
They got to match up on Nicholas because, like I said, he's very dangerous.
Miller, 2. As he gets it off, that'll be a shot clock violation.
Yes, sir. Great defensive job by Kentucky. Got their starters on the floor. Look at Gary. He can't believe it. That's pure frustration. Look at him. Look at him jumping up and down. I tell you, he doesn't get any more calmer as he's gotten older.
Saul Smith in and then backs out again.
Yeah, solid. Not a lot of minutes tonight.
Saul Smith, jumper short, goes after his own rebound, but a lot of contact underneath.
You know, after he had 6 turnovers in the first game, his father had a film evaluation, and he came back against Utah, and he had only 1 turnover with 3 assists, 4 steals, and 7 points. So the film evaluation, one-on-one, had to work. I mean, here he is. He comes home. His wife probably said, hey, as we look at the numbers here in the second half, look at the difference. Said, you know, you come home, and here it is more basketball. You got the guy one-on-one. Coaches don't do too much in the way of mixing it with the family during the season. I mean, it is basketball, basketball. It's hoops, hoops, and hoops.
Although, from what I understand is, Lorraine liked it when you went on.
Well, believe me, I had my priorities out of whack until I got into television. As I went, one of my former guys used to cover me, Joe LaPointe, now writing for the New York Times, said to me, you look so much more relaxed, more at ease than when I was covering you in Detroit, coaching.
There were a few wackier on the sidelines.
You got that right. And now it becomes so calm and cool in announcing, so relaxed, so shy. There's that zone.
Morris for 3, rattles it in.
I'll tell you, he's having a big-time game. These are the kind of games that give you the confidence. I mean, Terrence Morris projected by many of the coaches in the ACC to be the player of the year. Potential of the ACC. You may take that on a national basis.
19 points for Morris. The Terps within 3. Smith loses the handle. Blake.
He's got Morris in the trailer.
Doesn't need it. Takes it right to the glass.
I'll tell you one thing, they're alive. Kentucky's got to find somebody to make a big play. Last year at this time, they would have a pageant, or they'd have a Wayne Turner. A TO, baby, by the Cats. This is going to be a war down the last 9 minutes.
Blake has done a terrific job, the freshman out of Miami. Look at the swat, then to chase it down.
And then to finish the play. Here he is finishing now, taking it right to the basket, kissing it on the glass. Oh, here comes Terrence Morris, the All-American. There he is, agile and mobile inside. There he is from the perimeter. The J. There he is again with NBN, nothing but nylon. And now watch him with the little jump hook in the lane. Yes, sir. Terrence Morris spinning and wheeling, showing why he's a PT peer. Oh, what a fantastic job by TM Terrence Morris.
Part of Maryland's 16-4 run over the last 6 minutes to erase all but 1 point of a 13-point lead. Prince now.
Now let's see who's going to be a take charge guy for Kentucky.
Allison launches a 3. Rolls around, won't stay down. Kentucky basketball.
When Utah made a run at Kentucky late in the game, Allison made a big play, and so did Saul Smith to widen the gap. Gary Williams really fiery at halftime, how to get this club motivated and inspired to come out and not quit.
Allison jumping it down to McGlure. He gets fouled.
Well, you know, McGlure's going to make free throws, John. Did not look good in his last time on the line. Threw 2 bricks up there.
Keep in mind that Maryland trailed Tulane by 17 and won the game by 8. So this is a team that can put the points up in a hurry.
Yeah, we call them the comeback kids down at the Turf Field House. Take a look at the Maryland run right now. 4-to-1 ratio there, 16-4.
Math score or something? All this math out on me today.
Got to make those free throws, John. You're the leader. You're the senior. You got to be able to step up there and convert those.
Gore missing his last 3. Baxter out to Miller.
Nice ball movement.
Dixon won't go down. Tomorrow with the rebound. Saul Smith almost ended up in the front row.
He got knocked to the deck. Marvin, nice rebound laterally, setting a nice screen there for Prince. Didn't come off that screen.
Flora sets a screen for Prince as he goes into the lane and is surrounded by red jerseys and gets fouled.
It looks to me like Tyshaun Prince is starting to become the guy that wants the rock in his hands when they really need a big bucket. Take a look at Tyshaun Prince. Going to try and go a little one-on-one. Gets a nice screen for McGlure. Now you got to go to the line and knock these down.
It's 4 on Miller.
How quickly the game changes, John. In the first half, they were sensational. I mean, look at this. They're just driving Tommy nuts missing these free throws.
4 of 10 this half at the free throw line for Kentucky.
Well, you're not going to beat many clubs going 40% on the free throw line. He's shaking his head. Oh, wow. That's a nightmare to a coach. They work on that so often in practice.
Now the Terrapins with a chance to grab the lead. Blake. Taj Holden.
I like his versatility. I think eventually he's going to become a very good player, Holden.
Shot clock down to 5. Out of bounds.
Good defensive job by Kentucky in that sequence.
We've got a 1-point game. Gary Williams getting his squad worked up. Kentucky and Tommy Smith up by 1. John Saunders here with Hoops Malone as Kentucky has a 51-50 lead. Top 2 conferences in college basketball competing in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. 30th of this month and December 1st on ESPN and ESPN2. Now, if you can select the winner of all 9 games, you win a trip to the ACC or Big Ten tournament in the year 2000. Log on to ESPN.com to find out more. Maryland will face Iowa, already an upset winner over UConn.
Well, the ACC Big Ten Challenge is a great idea because it does pit against each other this time of year. Two of the conferences that are considered the best conferences in the country, among the best conferences in the country. And I think that's legitimate this year. We happen to play Iowa, who have already beaten Connecticut. They have a tremendous enthusiasm in their program with the new coach, Steve Alford.
Tremendous enthusiasm, and he would know about that, wouldn't he?
Oh, you talk about a guy that's enthusiastic and energetic. It's tough for that new blood of coaches to match this guy with energy. He may be, I don't know, getting in his 50s, but I'll tell you one thing. The bottom line is he's about 25, the way he really responds with so much spirit and so much fight.
Battle down in the blocks. Prince gets fouled.
You know, John, you talk about consistency in programs. Right now, from 1987 to 88, the top 10 programs are winning. Number 1 is Arizona, 320 wins and 74 losses, followed by Kansas, 332 and 83, and then Kentucky, 322, 88, Duke, 327, 93, and North Carolina, 326, 93. The next 5 are Arkansas, Princeton, Connecticut, Utah, and UCLA. Top 10 programs since 1987.
Prince. This is the second free throw after making one. McClure, big rebound, finds Saul Smith. 3 won't go, but Kentucky gets it back.
That was a good look by Saul up on top of the circle. They got to get a little better spacing right here, Kentucky. 15 to 17 feet apart, so they can't give help.
Bogans thinks about the 3, puts it on the floor, and loses it. Maryland's basketball.
Kentucky just looks out of rhythm in the second half. I don't know if it's the substitution patterns have not really been fluid right now for Tubby, but they just look out of rhythm offensively. In the first half, they were so in rhythm with one another and played a brilliant first half. But you got to play 2 halves to be able to be a consistent play.
Baxter turns baseline. McClure blocks him somehow. Morris got in there and got a hand on him.
Terrence Morris with a big-time half. He's the difference right now in the game. They caught him.
Kentucky has scored just 12 points this half.
See, now McClure got to go inside, try to seal, get some good position. Prince and Morris matched up. Morris got that size.
Allison spins, cut off. Prince for 3. Long.
Not even close. It's been all Maryland. This guy's playing a solid job in the second half at the point guard slot. Billy Hahn very active on the sideline with Gary Williams. Kentucky a little bit shocked right now here, John. And there's Maryland working on the glass. There's Terrence Morris, number 44, offensive rebound. Comes right down the lane. Nobody blocks him out. T. Morris having a big game at the Mecca, at the Garden.
Kentucky has missed their last 12 field goals. The next foul will send Maryland into the bonus. That was just a 6th team foul against Kentucky.
And one of these teams looking for the right to play Arizona has earned a chance to try to win their 3rd preseason NIT title in the 90s.
Baxter frees himself, fights it up, and gets hacked.
They're executing, John. And whenever you're getting ball movement and player movement, they call a foul.
No, it's going to offensive foul.
Offensive foul, but they're executing really well because they're getting good ball movement and player movement. When you got people that are active and moving, you're going to get good shots.
Stepped out of bounds. That's what the turnover was. Kind of screened out on that one. Prince. Stone grabbed it. The freshman gets it on the iron and drops it.
See, here's a kid I believe's got to get a lot more minutes, John. He just makes things happen when he's on the floor. He's active, he's big, he's got great hands, a size, an understanding of his skills.
Nicholas. Morris gets pushed away by Stone, who shows the strength. Baxter with it.
See, Nicholas would scare me right now because he's so capable of shooting 3.
Bogans with the steal.
Yeah, Bogans with the strip. Got to lay that down. Big basket by Kentucky, created by their defense.
Timeout is called by Maryland.
Tubby said, where have you guys been? Where you been in the second half? Gary says, I know where my guys have been. They've been fighting and scrapping and hustling. Got to make the old John Madden team the way they're playing.
35-16.
Now look at Bogans, number 10. He's going to be active here. Pops the ball loose, makes the strip. Then he turns to look, takes it up easy and lays it down. Nothing flashy, nothing. Well, Marvin Stone, the big guy inside. Number 24, watch the big guy. There he is, using his big body. Number 24 with the soft hands. Very graceful and smooth around the basket. And look, Gary, he's not a happy guy right now. He's not a happy. Get a 30, get a 30. Look at him. Eats, sleeps, and absolutely lives the game until it's flawless. Most coaches do.
I was going to say, in college basketball or professional basketball, if you don't, then it's time to sit next to me.
Yeah, be what I am, undefeated.
Almost a turnover. Ball on the floor. We're going to get a held ball situation. The arrow favors the Terps.
Saw Smith diving and hustling on the floor. Trying to impress his dad. Maryland, Kentucky, as I said earlier, they played December 11th in another matchup. Regular season game against each other. Kentucky certainly has got one of the toughest schedules in America pre-conference. I tease CM Newton about that food situation in the media room, but he's just a great athletic director, John. He just understands what coaches are. You see it, Baxter. You see, momentum now has swung a little bit to Kentucky's side. And it's great when you got an AD that understands what coaches go through. And he does, being a former outstanding basketball coach.
Illegal screen there.
There was no doubt in his mind that Tubby was the guy he wanted from day one when Rick Pitino decided to go to the next level. By the way, he's put together a heck of a team with that Celtic club.
It's only going to be a matter of time.
Got a nice threesome there with Pierce, Anderson, and Walker. Oh, they got to make free throw shots. That's a nightmare to a coach, watching what they're doing at that free throw line. The numbers are horrendous. About 35%.
5 of 14 this half.
I mean, that is brutal for a major college big-time program. America's #1 program in the century, according to Brooks Downing, the fine SID, and all the people in Kentucky. Doesn't get an argument down at UCLA with those national championships they possess.
Blake. Ball was kicked by Saul Smith, so a fresh 35-second clock for the Maryland Terrapins.
And remember, after this game, you got another super matchup with Purdue and certainly North Carolina. You talk about a program that can make a run for the best program in the years of the century.
Stone, very impressive. He was a top 5 finalist for the Naismith Award as a high school senior, but he is very impressive defensively and offensively.
He turned the game around against Penn. He was a big presence on the inside. Kentucky's defense is saving them because their offense has been out of sync, John. Their defense has saved them here as Maryland had made that run to tie this game up. They've come up with some good defensive stops. And that's the key to winning in anything. Oh, what a screen.
Stone just stood there, and Saul Smith took Blake into it perfectly.
But somebody's got to communicate and let him know a screen is coming. They got to let Blake know that screen is coming. That's a 5-second violation.
And Saul Smith trying to say, I released it before the call, but not this time. Turnover at the other end. Kentucky's lead is just 5. 3:50 to go. Welcome back to Madison Square Garden. John Saunders and Dick Vitale. Maryland Terrapins find themselves down by 5. Under 4 minutes to go to Kentucky. Kentucky had a huge lead at halftime. Maryland really come on strong. Of course, the winner of this game will get Michael Wright and Arizona. Look at the numbers he put up. 22 points. Very efficient shooting, Dick. And 11 boards to go with it.
And he had an outstanding help from his front court, along with Lauren Woods and also Richard Jefferson. Coming up next, wow, Purdue and North Carolina, Billy Raftery, and also Bob Carpenter. And I'll tell you, Ralph, I hope Carpenter spent some cash for food on you because I know he's got some deep pockets, baby.
I guarantee he can't hear you right now because Raf's still on the golf course.
Yeah, he's probably on the golf course, or maybe he's not alone, he's having something to eat.
As soon as the game starts, that's when he'll make his appearance at the Lahaina Civic Center. Yeah, another kick ball. Saul Smith playing a little soccer out here the last minute or so.
I'll tell you, the preseason NIT has really become special. Jack Powers and all his people do a fantastic job. All the people that help him with this tournament. It's always exciting to be here, John. It really is. You're always going to see quality basketball.
Again, schools recognizing the importance of playing a tough early season schedule. That's why you're getting such good teams.
Well, you get 4 games. You get 4 games that don't count against your total.
Baxter back out, and Blake stepped out of bounds.
See, defensive stop again, doing a great job defensively. Also, Ray Floriani was honored today, a media award, does a great job. And also Eddie Donovan. Eddie Donovan, former head coach of St. Bonaventure, general manager, coach of the Knicks. Beautiful guy. So great to see them honored by the NIT.
Prince, quiet lately. Lohr swings it.
Lohr's been real fast. See, Stone wanted the ball down there, and they missed him. I don't know how you can miss that guy with his size.
Smith now. Blake in his face. Stone and McGlure want a little two-man. Stone comes up shooting, and
he thought he got fouled.
Yeah, he did.
He was anticipating a foul that never came. He's going to be a special player at Kentucky. They're going to love Marvin. And I know Tubby's going to love him. They're going to go through some ups and downs, though, throughout the year because so many new people. Remember last year they lost their number 1, 2, and 3 options with Padgett, Evans, and Turner.
Stone has 13 rebounds. Baxter comes up shooting and drops it in.
I really like his game, John. I really do. I like his touch. He has an awareness of post presence inside. They just don't go away, the Terps, and that's a reflection of the personality of their leader. Look at the two. They look like a dynamite duo standing there. Billy Hahn and Gary Williams.
Morris out to meet Stone, who dumps it off to Saul Smith.
It's winning time. You order Stone's on the floor. Another turnover.
Well, he was open.
They're making this really nerve-wracking time. One of these coaches is not going to have a happy Thanksgiving, I can tell you that. Knowing what coaches go through. Will it be Tubby? Will it be Gary? Just be sitting there staring at their turkey tomorrow night.
I hope they're not staring at a turkey tonight.
Yeah.
Stone picks up the foul.
Take a look at the shooting right here. 21% in the second half. Wow. I mean, that's a nightmare. You look at that 21% right here, boy, that's a nightmare. Woo. Does that stand out versus 50% by Maryland? That'll get you in the game.
Kentucky has not shot it well. I know it's early. This is just their 3rd game, but they haven't shot it well in any of their games.
I think that comes with timing, though, and rhythm, and understanding what the offense is really trying to give you in terms of the execution of the offense and looking at the defense and trying to anticipate where you can attack the defenses. And that comes with familiarity with experience from your players. McGlure's been very quiet tonight. Morris, big time. He's been a PT peer. He's been the 3S man tonight. He's been super scintillating, sensational.
Loves to play Kentucky as well. Has 25. Last year at 26 against Kentucky. That was a career high. So he's within one of that.
Kentucky just not getting the execution out of the half-court game. They need that little jumper there.
McGlure from the free throw line. A big rebound by Tyshaun Prince.
But now he's got to convert on the free throw line, something they have not done. As you said earlier, shooting about 35% on the free throw line in the second half and 21% from the field. And yet they're winning, showing you the strength of that first half. Look at that free throw line. This kid's too good a shooter to miss 2 in a row. Somebody's got to feel a little relieved there.
Oh, not much.
Nice stroke right there. Down to a 1-possession game.
21 for Prince.
Kentucky relying now got to dig in defensively. That's been their trademark.
Morris trying to tie it. No good. Baxter gets it right back up. Morris crashing the glass. It's going to be Maryland's basketball.
And the reason it's their basketball, a little bit more aggressive for the playing. I tell you, they're attacking the glass a little bit more aggressively than Kentucky. They come up with their third chance.
Drew Nicholas checks back into the game for the Terps.
They want him out there for offense to shoot the 3. Want to set a screen for the kid. He dazzled people in the summer. Dixon wanted to shoot it. Again,
Dixon trying to run baseline to come off the screen. Baxter leans in. A lot of contact, but no call. Comes free to Prince. So they had a chance to trap Prince there and let it get away.
Now it's going to get down to free throw shooting, John.
Allison had to come up with a nice catch.
Well, he was a great flanker in high school.
That's right.
Football player.
Great football player.
Yeah, could have went anywhere he wanted for football.
Ball Smith. And they turn it over. Kentucky almost gets it back.
Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. He's got to back it out. Back it out. Smart timeout right there by Maryland.
Suddenly turned into a volleyball game.
Little Maalox smasher right now for both coaches. A one-possession game right here. You don't have to shoot that quickly to 3 in this possession. If you get the quick deuce, you still got time to foul or try to steal. But to get the 3 within the realm of your offense, you shoot the 3. As you look here at the totals.
No timeouts for the Terps.
Could have utilized all those 30 seconds you play with right now. Gary Williams' club had no quit in them. I really thought after that first half that Kentucky was totally in command. But you got to credit that to Gary Williams at halftime, really making adjustments and getting his team to play with a lot of emotion. And then Terrence Morris. It's nice when you got a big star who can bail you out. And he bailed them out in the second half to make this an outstanding game for Maryland in terms of getting back into the game.
Also got some help from Kentucky at the free throw line.
Exactly. And help from Kentucky shooting the basketball.
So 32.6 seconds remaining.
But I'll credit Maryland with some of that defense, too.
The shot clock should be off. The shot clock is still up there, and I think that's what's holding them up right now. 32.6 left. So get rid of that 33. Now we got a timeout from Kentucky. They take their 30-second timeout. They still have 2 timeouts left.
Tell you, strategy right now. You talk about this Kentucky team, John. The program's been outstanding over the years. Look at the wins. Most wins in basketball in the century. 39 SEC championships, 13 Final Fours, 7 NCAA titles, all kinds of trips to the NCAA more than any other program. And certainly they can make a legitimate claim for the right to be the team of the century, but they can down at UCLA as well. But right now, strategy is big. As far as Tubby Smith is concerned right now, he's thinking about defensive adjustments, as his family is as well. His wife, Donna, waving that pom-pom. Right now, he's got to make sure that they're aware of the three-point shooters. And if Nicholas is on the floor, that's one guy you got to match up with. Blake, you know, is looking to distribute the basketball.
Don't you think you just want the best available at this point? There's still a lot of time.
Exactly. You take the best available score, but if the 3 is available, you'll shoot the 3. But there's no rush. If you can get a deuce inside from Morris or from Baxter, you take it.
Especially the way Kentucky shot free throws.
Exactly. You make them go to the line, you're going to get the ball back. But remember, in this game as well, they're using that experimental rule after 10 fouls.
I hate it.
I do too. You can take the ball out of bounds.
Dixon launches a long 3 that's off the front of the iron, and Prince gets the ball. They need to foul him. I don't know what Nicholas is waiting for, whether he wanted to pass.
I thought he forced that shot right there. Shot it too quickly.
It was a long 3. It was almost at NBA range. And then, when Prince cleared the glass, Maryland waited for the foul.
Well, they tried to set a little screen, but that was a tough shot. Had a hand in his face. Kentucky did a great job on a perimeter and playing good perimeter defense. As Gary Williams' club now in big-time trouble. Down 3 with 15 ticks on the clock. A gallant effort. Not over yet, certainly.
That we talked about. You want to have the best look at the hoop, especially the way Kentucky has shot their free throws. You know you're going to get a chance if you get a deuce. But at that point, that wasn't even close to being their best look. That was a foot outside the NBA arc.
Exactly. And remember this, they can take the ball out of bounds, Kentucky, if Maryland were to foul them because of the experimental rule and not go to the line. Oh, bad pass on the inbound.
Oh, They got away with it, though.
Yes, they did. They got away with it with a foul on Blake. They can take the ball in bounds as a choice rather than shooting. Let's see what Tubby Smith's going to do.
Why wouldn't you shoot? Why not take a chance at the 4 points?
Now, there it is, the deflection. He can't believe it. Why? Very simple. If you look at the way they've been shooting, that's the reason, John.
I don't care.
Time, you got a 3-point lead. Time is more important.
You're shooting 2 no matter what. Here's the experimental rule. You have the option of shoot the free throws. You're getting 2 no matter what. You're not in a 1-on-1 situation. I want to take my chance to turn it into a 2-possession game. I don't care how badly my team has been shooting.
Well, that's a choice a coach has got to make. I wish they get rid of the rule because the art of shooting free throws, to me, is part of basketball.
Right,
and you should be able to go to the line and not get into this situation. But some coaches, the philosophy I've seen early in the season is in a situation like this, they'd rather have the ball out of bounds because they want to take time off the clock with the lead.
Yeah, what if you turn it over?
Right there. Well, then you got troubles. I mean, right now, he converted that, so this should be really, if they do a good job defensively, they should be in great, great shape. He's an 83% shooter, so that really helps you make the decision a little more.
Oops. It's still a 2-possession game unless someone gets fouled shooting at threes. Smart move by Dixon, recognizing it's 2 possessions. Why shoot the 3? And then McClure gets fouled. Now,
take it out of bounds.
You might have a different situation.
You take it out of bounds. I would take it out of bounds in this situation here, John. I really would.
Really? Turnover 3, you lose.
I'm surprised, are you not, that they're shooting?
Well, I want the points. I mean, you're a coach and I'm not. But to me, I want to take my chance. McClure is 1 of 5. Wow, rattles that one down. But this is the big one, because this makes it a 4-point game. And now Maryland has a chance.
You don't want to foul here.
3 seconds. Long 3 off the mark. Miller chases down the rebound. And no good.
I'll tell you, gallant effort by Maryland. Kentucky's defense at the end, the difference. Came up with a couple of big stops when they had to. Made some superb defensive stops because Maryland was right there to take command of this game.
Kentucky had a big lead at halftime at 40-27. Maryland came back, never led in the game, but got back to even. Kentucky decided to put their starters back in the game, and this time it paid off.
Well, that's the matchup now. Arizona and Kentucky, 2 of the winningest programs in the last 12 years we talked about earlier. Kansas right between them. Notre Dame will be playing Maryland in a consolation, but Arizona, Kentucky hooking up. Arizona has won more games from 1987-88 to right now, and then number 2, Kansas, number 3, Kentucky. Should be a good matchup. Should be a great championship.
And Maui Invitational coming up as well. Purdue and North Carolina. Bob Carpenter and Bill Raftery will have that. So the NIT matchups are set for Friday. For Dick Vitale, I'm John Saunders, Larry Beal, and Digger Phelps.